You're exhausted, but you can't sleep. Your body is tired, but your mind is running, replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow, calculating problems that don't exist yet. And no matter how long you lie there, the silence somehow gets louder. Here's what nobody tells you. That feeling isn't weakness. It's what happens when a busy mind never gets permission to stop. And tonight, that changes. Imagine two people ending the same difficult day, same problems, same stress, same long hours, same heavy responsibilities. The first person collapses into bed, scrolling through their phone, watching videos, reading news, feeding their mind more stimulation until their eyes finally close from pure exhaustion. They wake up 8 hours later, still tired, still anxious, still carrying everything from yesterday. The second person does something different, something simple, something almost ancient. They follow a short evening routine. One designed not to exhaust the mind further, but to deliberately release it. And they wake up 8 hours later, clear, calm, ready, same day, same problems, completely different minds. The difference isn't luck, it isn't genetics, it isn't even the number of hours slept. It's what they did in the final hour before sleep. And what that second person practiced was the same routine followed by the most powerful man in the ancient world, Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome. A man who carried the weight of an entire civilization on his shoulders every single day. Yet he slept deeply, calmly, with intention. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how. Stay with me, because the last step especially will completely change how you think about rest. Section 1. Why your evenings are destroying your sleep. Before we get into the routine itself, we need to talk about something most sleep advice completely ignores. Because everyone talks about sleep hygiene, blue light glasses, magnesium supplements, temperature of your room, blackout curtains, and while those things matter, they're all treating the symptom, not the cause. The real reason most people can't sleep has nothing to do with their bedroom. It has everything to do with their unfinished mind. Think about your average evening. You finish work, but you don't finish thinking about work. You leave the office, but the office doesn't leave you. You eat dinner, but your mind is still solving problems, still replaying conversations, still rehearsing arguments, still calculating worst-case scenarios. And then you expect your brain to simply switch off on command, like a light. But here's the truth. The mind doesn't have an off switch. It has a wind-down process, and most people skip it entirely. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. They knew that how you end your day determines the quality of everything that follows, not just your sleep, your next morning, your next week, your next year, because a mind that never truly rests never truly recovers, and a mind that never recovers accumulates damage silently, slowly, until one day it breaks under the weight of everything it was never allowed to release. This routine is the release valve, and it starts with something most people would never expect. Before we continue, ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you ended a day feeling genuinely at peace? Not just tired, not just distracted, actually peaceful. If you're struggling to remember, keep watching, because that feeling isn't lost, it's just buried under habits you didn't know were hurting you. Section 2, the Stoic evening audit. The Stoics had a practice they considered essential, not optional, not occasional, essential. Every single evening, before sleep, they reviewed their day, not to judge themselves harshly, not to punish their mistakes, but to understand them. Seneca, one of history's greatest Stoic thinkers, wrote about this practice in detail. He described how every night before sleep he would examine his entire day, every action, every word, every decision, and he would ask 3 specific questions. Question 1, where did I fall short today? Not in a self-destructive way, in a curious way, like a scientist examining data. Where was I impatient? Where was I distracted? Where did I react instead of respond? Question 2, what did I do well today? This is the question most people skip because we're conditioned to focus on failure. But Stoicism is not about self-punishment. It's about honest self-assessment. Acknowledge where you showed up well, where you were kind, where you stayed disciplined, where you chose wisely. Question 3, what will I do better tomorrow? Not a vague intention, a specific commitment. Tomorrow I will pause before reacting. Tomorrow I will focus on one thing at a time. Tomorrow I will speak with more patience. This evening audit does something extraordinary. It closes the mental loops your brain has been running all day, because here's what science now confirms, and what the Stoics understood intuitively. Your brain cannot rest while it still has unresolved loops. Unfinished thoughts keep firing, unanswered questions keep searching, unprocessed emotions keep circling. The evening audit gives your brain permission to close those loops, to file the day away, to say, I have seen today clearly, I have learned from it, I am ready to release it, and that simple act prepares the mind for genuine rest. Here's what's fascinating. Most people spend their evenings avoiding their thoughts, numbing them with screens, drowning them with noise, distracting them with content, and yet the thoughts don't disappear. They just wait patiently until the moment you finally lie down in the dark and close your eyes, and then they arrive. All of them at once. The Stoics didn't avoid their thoughts in the evening. They faced them deliberately while they still had energy to process them, so that by the time they lay down, there was nothing left to face. Just silence, just rest, just peace. Section 3, the practice of letting go. Now we arrive at the practice that changed everything for me personally. And I want to be honest with you. When I first heard about this, I almost dismissed it. It sounded too simple, almost philosophical to the point of being impractical. But after consistently practicing it for 30 days, I realized it was the single most powerful thing I'd ever done for my sleep and my mental health. The Stoics called it Memento Mori, the contemplation of mortality. Now, before you close this video thinking that sounds dark, stay with me, because this is where it gets genuinely surprising. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every evening. He would remind himself, today is complete. Whatever happened today has already happened. It cannot be changed. It cannot be undone. It belongs to the past now, and the past is not mine to carry. He would then remind himself of something even deeper. This life is temporary. Every person I love is temporary. Every problem I face is temporary. Every success I achieve is temporary. And here's the paradox that took me a long time to understand. When you truly accept the temporary nature of everything, you stop clinging to today so desperately. You stop replaying it. You stop trying to fix it in your mind, because you realize something profound. Today was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to be lived. And you lived it imperfectly, humanly, completely. And now it's done. And that realization create space in your chest, space in your mind, space where anxiety used to live. The Stoics weren't morbid when they contemplated mortality. They were practicing the deepest form of acceptance, letting go of the day completely so that sleep could arrive naturally, like it was always supposed to. Let me ask you something unexpected. What if your inability to sleep isn't a sleep problem at all? What if it's a letting go problem? What if the racing thoughts aren't signs that something is wrong with your brain, but signs that you were never taught how to release a day properly? Because nobody teaches us this. School didn't teach it. Our parents likely weren't taught it either. We learned how to start days, alarms, coffee, to-do lists, but nobody taught us how to end them until now. Section 4, preparing your mind for tomorrow. Here's something the Stoics understood about anxiety. Most nighttime anxiety isn't actually about today, it's about tomorrow. Worry about what hasn't happened yet, fear about what might go wrong, uncertainty about what the future holds. And your brain, which is designed to protect you, refuses to rest until it feels like tomorrow is handled. So give it what it needs. Marcus Aurelius had a practice for this. Every evening, he would briefly acknowledge the challenges tomorrow might bring, not to worry about them, but to accept them in advance. He would remind himself, tomorrow will bring difficulty, tomorrow will bring unexpected problems, tomorrow will bring people who frustrate me, tomorrow will bring moments where I feel overwhelmed, and I accept all of that, because difficulty is not the enemy of a good life. It is the texture of a real one. When you stop fighting the idea of a difficult tomorrow, your brain stops trying to solve it at midnight, because it already has the answer. The answer is acceptance. The answer is, whatever comes tomorrow, I am ready. Not because I've controlled every outcome, but because I have decided who I will be regardless of those outcomes. That decision alone calms the nervous system in a way no sleep supplement ever could. Think about the difference between a soldier going into battle unprepared and one who has spent the night in calm, focused readiness. Same battle, same danger, same uncertainty, completely different internal state. The Stoics prepared for tomorrow not by solving it, but by accepting it. And acceptance is the deepest form of courage there is. Section 5, the final practice, Stoic gratitude at night. The most powerful section. We've arrived at the final step, and I saved this one for last deliberately, because out of everything in this routine, this is the one that will feel most different by morning. I promise you that. Most people think gratitude is soft, optional, something people write in journals and forget. But the Stoics practiced gratitude with radical intensity. Not as a feel-good exercise, as a weapon against anxiety. Here's why. Anxiety is obsessed with what you don't have, what hasn't happened yet, what might go wrong, what you haven't achieved. Gratitude does the exact opposite. It anchors your mind to what is already real, already present, already enough. Marcus Aurelius, a man who had more wealth and power than almost any human in history, still practiced gratitude every evening for simple things. For his health, for the people around him, for another day of consciousness, for the ability to think clearly, for small moments of beauty he had witnessed. And here's what's remarkable about that. He wasn't practicing gratitude because his life was easy. He was practicing it because his life was hard. And he knew that without deliberately anchoring to what was good, the mind would naturally drift toward what was difficult. Because that's what minds do. They scan for threats, they search for problems, they prepare for danger. Gratitude interrupts that pattern. It says, wait, before you scan for threats, look at what survived today, look at what remained, look at what was good. So tonight, before you sleep, don't reach for your phone, don't scroll through news, don't check one more email. Instead, lie in the darkness and name 3 things. Just 3. 3 things from today that were genuinely good. They don't have to be large. The warmth of your coffee this morning, a moment of unexpected kindness, a problem you solved, a breath of fresh air, a single moment where life felt real and good and yours. Name them, feel them, let them be the last thing your mind holds before sleep. Because what you fall asleep thinking about shapes what you wake up feeling. And if the last thought in your mind before sleep is genuine gratitude, you will wake up differently, not magically, not perfectly, but differently, calmer, softer, more ready. Here's what I want you to remember. Sleep is not just rest, it's recovery. It's the moment your mind processes everything the day threw at it. It's when memories are formed, when emotions are regulated, when your body repairs itself, when your mind prepares for what's coming. And if you go into that sacred process carrying unresolved anxiety, unfinished loops, unprocessed emotions, unexamined days, your sleep will never be what it was designed to be. But if you go into it the way Marcus Aurelius did, having reviewed your day honestly, having released it completely, having accepted tomorrow with courage, having anchored to gratitude genuinely, then sleep becomes something different. It stops being an escape and becomes a return to yourself, a return to calm, a return to the version of you that exists before the world gets involved. The Stoics didn't just practice philosophy during the day, they practiced it at night too, because they understood something we are only now rediscovering. How you end your day is how you begin your life. So tonight, close the loops, release the day, accept tomorrow, find 3 things that were good and sleep. Not as someone escaping the world, but as someone who has made peace with it, one evening at a time. If this helped you even slightly, there is a morning routine video on this channel that pairs perfectly with tonight's practice. Watch it tomorrow morning before you touch your phone. And if you want more Stoic wisdom delivered weekly, subscribe to Volcara, because the best version of you is built one quiet evening at a time. Good night.